Okay, guys, welcome back to the show. We now have George Sullivan joining us. How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Good to be back home in Jersey.
Just talk about your fight with Dominic Waters last week.
Oh, the first time I destroyed him, I dominated him. I had him pretty much knocked out. I was shocked that that he even let the fight go on. At the end of the first round, he didn't even know where it was.
Right.
And then I noticed the bell rings, and he's still sitting on the bell. And he's still sitting on the stool. Kind of like what happened to Tim Kennedy. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I was surprised that they let the fight go on. And in the second round, I think I landed 48 shots to his 2. He survived that somehow. I don't know how the fuck he did that. Excuse my French.
Right.
And then in the third round, somehow he gets my back, and he stalled pretty good. And I turned around, but I think the punch count was 175 or something like that to 36.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, in no part of the fight was I in trouble. I did have my back, but I knew he was too weak to finish me. But he did take a beating. What heart he had.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, obviously, how's your health coming out of this fight?
I had stitches in my head, so I'm out for a week for that. I hurt my ankle in the first round. I threw a switch kick and hit his knee, and I hit it right in that hole above your ankle. So my foot was blown up for about since I left the fight. I can't run or nothing, but that swelled up pretty good. But other than that, I feel good. We know what we have to do, and we're gonna start traveling to ATT and training with them guys up there. Yeah. Kurt set some things up, and I got to get some better training in. Got to step it up a notch now that I'm 3-1 in the UFC. So what better team to train with than them? So.
Just talk a little bit about being on the UFC card right after UFC 189. That was a huge weekend in Vegas. Just talk about the events.
Yeah, man. Well, it was awesome to see the fans for Conor. I mean, those fans were awesome. They were chanting and cheering. The Robbie Lawler and McDonald fight was insane. So just to be a part of that and the same weekend at the Expo was just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It was really cool. I was glad they considered me to fight on the Sunday because that's a hard card to follow.
Sure.
How do you top that card?
Right.
So we were overshadowed by it, but I still felt like we did a good job. And there was some blood, and we put some put a show on. So that was cool.
Yeah, man. You mentioned the Rory McDonald Lawler fight. What did you think of that?
It's a war. It was awesome. It was unbelievable. You don't ask more. You don't ask. Sorry, my dog in the background. You don't ask for more than that. That fight was insane. So back and forth, their faces. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Every fight is their dream, I guess.
What I was just going to say is it came out that after the fight, the judges had, oh man, Lawler was losing the fight. I think 3 rounds to 1. Was that a surprise for you?
Yeah, no, I think the same thing. That he had that power still, and he fought him. I really didn't watch the whole entire fight.
Sure.
I tried not to watch it. I was just watching bits and pieces of it.
Right.
Because I had this whole thing. I don't like to watch fights before I fight because it makes me think about mine too much.
Yeah.
But
that makes
I
sense.
was kind of just focused. Yeah, but props to Robbie, man. Just to have the power in his hands still to finish it, and poor McDonald's case. Hopefully he recovers from that. It's not very often you come back stronger from a fight like that. Some guys can only do so many wars and they don't come back strong. That was a pretty big one.
The Reebok uniforms debuted that weekend. What was your thoughts on the actual uniforms themselves?
I think that it's a cool idea. I felt like a little bit of a soccer player.
Right.
It was cool how they set it up, the lockers. They have all of our things folded in the back now. It's very professional. They were comfortable. I love the sweats and everything. But it takes a little getting used to it, all of us looking the same. But I'm getting new sneakers and bags and all that other stuff. They really take care of us. So, it has its perks. The only thing that I think shocks a lot of us fighters is not being able to put sponsors on us.
Right.
And the banner, because I lose over $10,000 a fight now. So you lose a lot of money not being able to put that banner behind you.
Sure.
And put things on your shorts.
Yeah.
So you gain money in the Reebok deal, but it's everything else that hurts us. And I think it's wrong for people to say that they don't like the Reebok deal, because the Reebok deal itself is good, but not having that banner and the stuff on our shorts kills us.
Yeah, I got you, man. Okay, big news about these IVs no longer being used after weight cuts. Is that going to affect you?
Yeah, well, it would have if I stayed at 200 and dropped to 70.
Right.
But this fight, I don't know if you noticed, I was a little bit smaller. We were preparing for it.
Sure.
I'm usually about 197 when I fight. There was only 190 that time. 187 to 190, if that. The next fight, we're going to be a little bit smaller, just so we don't have to use the IV because, you know, dropping 30 pounds and then putting 30 pounds back on overnight without an IV, it's just going to make you slow. So we're going to just try to stay in the one. Yeah, I think 187 is what my coach wants me to stay at. That way, it's only a 17-pound drop. Not too bad.
A few weeks ago, Bellator had this Shamrock versus Kimbo fight. People were calling for the fix, and I was seeing some people calling for the fix on the Connor fight. So my question is, you know, 2015, man, are any fighters risking fixing a fight?
Listen, I didn't think the Conor McGregor fight was fixed. I think he just hits that hard.
Sure.
But when a guy like Ken Shamrock, who's a legend in submission, doesn't know how to do a rear naked choke, doesn't know how to knock out somebody, doesn't know how to not get swept. He made 5 mistakes in a row, and he's been doing this for like 30 friggin' years. That looks staged to me. So I think every person that knows anything about fighting thinks the Shamrock fight was fixed. But as far as McGregor, no, I don't think so. Not at all.
Okay, and like, is there any way to prove though that the fight was fixed? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess you never can, man. I guess like in baseball, when a pitcher used to throw the game, how do you really know he's throwing the game?
Right.
You know, there's no real way to tell. I hope for their sake that it wasn't. But I'm not really, you know, I just think Bellator is going too much into that WWE thing. Like, I have no care that Kimbo fights the Street Fighter. To show that in the background while he's walking out to the cage, to me, was a bad thing for our sport. We're not Street Fighters. We're professional athletes. Any real fighter doesn't give a shit what Kimbo fights in the backyard against a guy who doesn't even know how to fight.
Right.
You know? Yeah, so I think they need to take a better look at this. And remember, we're the best fighters in the world. We're not the best entertainers. We're fighters. Let us fight. They're making it like a mockery over there. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay, George, anyone you'd like to thank, or just throw out your social media?
Yeah, I mean, just follow me on Twitter at Sullivan UFC. Also thank Kurt Pellegrino, Dan Fisher, Dan O'Cone, Matt Jennings, Nikki Red, Everlast Lab, NutriShop, Joe from NutriShop, and Christy, and everybody out there. I just want to thank my friends and my family for supporting me, and thank Reebok too.
Okay,
thanks for having me, man.
Well, I appreciate it, and hopefully we get to see you back in there pretty soon.
Yeah, man, hopefully 3 months. Let's hope.
Okay, fingers crossed. See ya.
All right, bro. All right. If you need anything, man, always a phone call or just give me a call.